Hey everybody, I'm Diane Gale and welcome to my channel, Sustainable Slow Living. Today you and I are going to make zucchini bread jam together. Zucchini bread jam is quick and easy to make and it's delicious. It is a great way to use up all of that surplus zucchini that is around at this time of year. So let's get started. I'm going to take this Dutch oven and I am going to put this shredded zucchini in it. I have shredded 4 cups of zucchini. This was 1 large zucchini. And then I'm going to put in a cup of apple juice. You can use pineapple juice if you like. Changes the flavor significantly and kind of takes away the zucchini bread flavor in my opinion. Then I'm going to put in 2/3 cup of golden raisins. You can use regular raisins. You can use dried cranberries. Again, you're looking at changing the flavor. I'm going to put in 2 tablespoons of lemon juice and a 1/2 teaspoon of nutmeg and 1 full teaspoon of cinnamon. And finally, I am going to put 2 packages of pectin in here. This pectin, these packages measure 1.75 ounces each. And then I'm going to take this. I'm going to put it on the burner. I'm going to stir it up and bring it to a rolling boil. A rolling boil is when it will continue to boil even as you're stirring it. So once I get to that point, I will be back with you to show you what to do next. Okay, you guys, there's so much steam coming off this that I'm not sure I'm going to be able to show you what I mean by a rolling boil. But normally when you bring your pot to a simmer and you put your spoon in there and you do this, it stops simmering for a moment. When I am stirring this, as you can see, it is still boiling. So we have reached the rolling boil point. That's exactly where we want to be for the next step. And that next step is to add 3 cups of sugar to this. It's a lot of sugar, you guys. I know. I'm sure there are ways to make this with less sugar. I'm sure there are ways to make this with honey. I know that there's ways to sweeten these kind of like jams and jellies with natural fruit juice. And those are all things that I have yet to learn. I do not know how to do them. I do know how to do this. It is delicious. It is not something I eat a lot. So, you know, it's up to you whether or not you want to give it a try. And a lot of people aren't opposed to the sugar anyway. I do think that sugar is a really negative part of a good healthy diet. So this is a treat, not a daily staple. We're making a small quantity of this, and we'll talk about that later when I talk about the canning method that I'm going to use. Right now, I'm going to bring this back to a rolling boil before we can it. And I do want to talk to you about the flavor. Zucchini is great. You can take zucchini and you can add it to just about anything to beef it up because zucchini takes on the other flavors in the dish, right? So you can take, when you have a surplus of zucchini and you just want to get all those great nutrients, you can add them into a spaghetti sauce or really any sauce. You can add them into just about any dish and they're going to take on the flavor from that dish and just carry it with it. So this, it kind of works on that principle. This is a zucchini bread jam and the cinnamon and the nutmeg and the raisins all kind of lend, the apple juice of course, lends a flavor to it that resembles zucchini bread, and the shredded zucchini just picks all of that up. That's really its main purpose in there. It's kind of a filler, but it absorbs flavor, so it doesn't take away from the dish, it adds to it. It's really great for that. While that's coming back to a rolling boil, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get my canning jars lined up here and ready to fill. Now today I'm going to be using the inversion method for canning. This is not an approved method. It is not USDA approved. It is a very old-fashioned method that many people, I guess, still use. It's 100% up to your discretion whether or not you choose to use it. I do use it. I feel comfortable and safe with it. You can use a water bath canning method with this just as well. And the only difference is going to be that when I fill these jars, these are sterilized jars with fresh lids that have never been used, sterilized jars and rings with fresh lids that have never been used. And when I fill these jars, I am going to invert them and let them sit like that 5 minutes. And then I will turn them back over and let them sit, you know, and they'll pop and they'll seal. With water bath canning, which is an approved method, you're going to fill them, you're going to finger tighten the lids instead of tightening them more securely like I'm going to do today, and you're going to put them in a water bath canner and you will cook them in the canner for a designated amount of time. That's something that you would have to look up to see how long you need to cook them in there, and then you would pull them out and set them and wait for the lids to pop and seal. So you can make this recipe either way. You have to do what is most comfortable for you. One of the reasons, wow, this is at a rolling boil. All right, we'll turn this off. One of the reasons that I'm so comfortable using the inversion canning method with this is because this isn't something I'm going to do for long-term storage. I'm probably going to keep one of these jars for myself, and then I'm probably going to give the rest of them away. And when I give them away, I will tell them they're not good for long-term storage and they are something that they have to eat right away. So we are at a rolling boil. I'm going to take my funnel, and all I have is this little ladle today. I apologize for that, it's going to take me forever, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to ladle this into these jars, and I'm going to fill them right up to the bottom of the rim. Okay, you guys, so as you can see, I have 2 full pint jars here and a little more than half a pint jar. This will be my jar. I am not even going to use the inversion canning method for this. I am going to let it cool off. I'm going to put a lid on it, and then I'm going to put it in my fridge and I'm going to eat it. But for these, I'm going to show you how to complete the inversion canning method if it's something you're interested in. I have a paper towel here, and I'm just putting a little bit of white vinegar on it, and I'm just going to go around the top of these jars, like just in case any of the jam has found its way onto the jars, and I can see spots where it has. That will keep it from sealing at all. So you definitely want to do this step. And then I'm going to take and I'm going to put the lid on them, and I'm going to put the band on. I'm going to take those bands and I'm going to finger tighten them. So what that is basically just spinning them until they don't spin anymore and giving the slightest little twist. Now, I want these to be more than finger tightened. So I'm going to take and get a hold of the jar, and I'm just going to give it a twist, just until it's tight, okay? You don't have to crank down on it. Just take and give it a twist until it's tight. And then I'm going to take these and I am going to invert them. I'm going to let them sit for about 5 minutes, and then I'm going to turn them back over. Okay, you guys, I wanted to get a taste of this zucchini bread jam with you. Excuse the mess. I did another video in between on a zucchini parmesan recipe, and that will be coming out in a couple days, so stay tuned. This bread jam came out amazing. Now with the inversion method, once you invert your jars, you just want to leave them sit inverted for about 5 minutes and then flip them back over and wait until you hear them pop. And you know, it is the way that they used to use for long-term storage, but it is not an approved method. I can't stress that enough. This recipe makes only like 2.5 jars of jam, so if you're going to share, you really don't even have to go through all that. Like I said, with the one I'm keeping for myself, I'm just going to let it cool off, and then I'm just going to put like a screw-on plastic mason jar lid, and it'll be eaten in the next week or two. And you know, I mean, it will last for longer than that just because of the apple juice and the sugar that's in it. So you probably have, I mean, I don't know what safety methods recommend. I would say you have 3 weeks to a month to eat this in your fridge without a problem. As always, just pay attention for, you know, any discoloration or mold or odd odor. But this came out wonderfully, and it's just a great jam. It makes a great addition to like a charcuterie board. Like I said, I'm going to intentionally try and get some zucchini in here. The zucchini takes on the other flavors, and that's what's perfect about this. It is a way to use up your zucchini, and you're going to get that great fall flavored jam. It is very sweet, but it is out of this world. And the zucchini, I mean, it's just like there's fruit in there. You just don't even realize what it is. It's an incredible, incredible jam. I know it's called zucchini bread jam, and it is reminiscent of zucchini bread, like I said before, but that apple flavor really comes through too. So this is an amazing jam for fall. This recipe is part of the Cook the Garden series that I have started. I am doing, I started it late this year, so I'm doing tomatoes and zucchini and eggplant this year, and then next year I'm going to continue on when next year's garden bounty starts to come in, and we will do some of the other vegetables. And then each year I hope to expand and just continue to add recipes to this series so that this channel becomes a great place for you to come to figure out exactly what it is to do with your fresh garden vegetables. Definitely give this a try. It's an amazing recipe, out of this world. You can use the water bath canning method to store it long term if you want to make bigger batches. I like to make small batches of most things because it's just me. Make yourself some. You are going to love it. I know you will enjoy every bite. And as always, thank you so very much for joining me here today. You and I will get together again, and we will do it really soon.